juice. Melissa struggles some tolerating the smell, but Professor acts quickly. She glues the cup instantly, and there is no traces of splinters. Finally, it's time for lunch. We have a cheeseburger and French fries and liquid nitrogen. It doesn't let us eat peacefully. It tempts us to perform new experiments. Put French fries into a bowl with liquid nitrogen. It freezes at once. As soon as the French fries happen to get into liquid nitrogen, it turns back to its frozen version. And now, let's try to freeze a cheeseburger. Pour liquid nitrogen onto the cheeseburger. Take it out. It's very hard to touch. Let's cut it using a knife and a hammer. Well, our cheeseburger has certainly got tempered. Now it is as hard as steel. Somehow we managed to break this stone-hard cheeseburger. It doesn't seem that tasty anymore when it is frozen. It's nice to work in a chemical lab. If you are too lazy to go out and get ice cream, you can make it right in a laboratory setting. Add condensed milk to strawberry milk. Stir. Pour in liquid nitrogen. Keep on stirring. We have fruit ice cream in a couple of seconds. Put a scoop of ice cream into a wafer cone. Super fast natural ice cream is ready in no time. Delish! Maybe we should close the lab and open a factory that produces our favorite dessert. Great idea! I'm doing an experiment and Professor Yum Yum keeps sticking her nose into my business. Oops! She drops her Oreo into my liquid nitrogen. Let's see what will happen to it. Put an Oreo into liquid nitrogen. You can take out a hard cookie covered with frost in a moment. If you hit it, it breaks into crumbs. To maintain the integrity of the experiment, Professor Yum Yum drops another cookie into the liquid nitrogen. There you go! Now there's an Oreo floating in my experiment. I take the cookie out. It gets frozen right away as expected. Take your frozen cookie back and stop spoiling my experiment. Professor Yum Yum is going to eat Nutella in peace and quiet. That is not happening. Her assistant has no mercy. No product escapes from the nitrogen experiment. Put a teaspoon of Nutella into liquid nitrogen. The chocolate spread turns into a hard mass in a few seconds. Nutella gets completely hard. Now it's a chocolate candy, except that it is frozen. Take care of your tongue. Melissa brings donuts, but she doesn't expect that Professor will sacrifice her donut to science. Pour liquid nitrogen onto the donut. It immediately gets covered with an icy crust. While Professor takes a close look at her donut, I enjoy eating my sweet and warm one, and Professor Yum Yum can't even break her experimental donut to see if the filling is frozen. It's time for a coffee break. Add whipped cream. But Melissa is going to add it not only into coffee, but into liquid nitrogen too. Let's see what we will get. Squeeze whipped cream into a container with liquid nitrogen. It hardens and becomes fragile like meringue. Our scientists have been wrestling with this experiment for a long time. What have we got? It looks like meringue. Melissa eats it like dessert, and Professor drops it into her cup of coffee. It used to be a regular coffee with cream, and now it's become a cool mochaccino. Tasty! The lab assistant brings a rose in the lab. Ooh, is it for me? Calm down, Professor. This rose is not for decoration. It's for science. Pour liquid nitrogen onto a rose. The leaves and petals freeze right away, and the flower breaks in pieces like glass. We arrange a cryo cooler for the rose. It is covered with ice and it steams. And Professor suggests radical methods. Bash the rose against the table. Boom! The rose breaks in flinders. There's a saying in our lab, break a rose and luck will come. Did you like our food experiments? Then write in your comments which of them amazed you the most. And don't forget to give your thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell so that you don't miss the most amazing experiments in the Troom Troom lab.